Good morning. Morning, folks. Morning, Leon. Morning, John. Morning, Silver. Hope you guys are well. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Hump day, although it shouldn't be hump day for us. We should be loving what we're doing, right? It's never hump day for traders because we enjoy what we do every day, even when we lose trades, as I did yesterday. But I hope everybody's well. And let's get into the markets. Make sure I'm recording this, am I? Yep. Okay, let's talk about the trades yesterday. So we'll talk about the bad first, because it's always better to do that. With this Nasdaq 100, I don't think this was a massively bad trade. To be fair, I know I talked in the morning saying I might wait for a breakout, but that's before that I got this evening star here coming on increasing volume, and we saw a little bit of risk-off sentiment come in. So, you know, as I said in my setup, I was happy going with this channel corrective and saying this is enough digestion, along with those higher time frame confluence, along with the obviously the fact that indices have been on a downtrend, and happy that taking that to the downside. Now, this is obviously the risk with our aggressive entry, morning Ash, where unlike the breakout where we're looking to break through the area, there's always this risk that it gets support at the support area and pushes on, and that's exactly what Nasdaq did. I don't know if this continues to the upside. Again, you know, maybe short-term positivity before longer-term negativity. But, yeah, unfortunately, just a losing trade. I know with the aggressive strategy that I'm going to have a lower win rate, and the obviously payoff is trades like EU that I'm in now where you're making quite a bit percent. This is not closed yet. EU's not closed on the ones you win. So, and again, for me, I do think it's still a little bit of transition. Going, you know, live trading a new strategy. We know that it works, but I don't know it like the back of my hand yet, like I do with the breakout and breakout retest, and it might just take a few months before I'm 100% comfortable with it. That's not saying that I'm not comfortable with trading at live markets, but you know, it's just what normally happens when you implement a new strategy. That it just takes them a little bit time to maybe learn how do I, you know, increase that win rate a little bit again. Going in the real markets, you remember a little bit more about what you like, what works, what doesn't like. And it's a losing trade. And I can't do anything about it. And it's okay. It's part and parcel of the game. Right, the good news is this. So EU, as I was talking about yesterday, I did still like dollar strength. And this is the benefits. I know this is not closed. Right, anything can happen here. We can push on. I do expect to get some kind of reward out of this since we are using the SAR. But running about, so 693, so about 7% roughly at the moment, which is great. From a technical perspective, I still like this, you know, good cup with handle. It wouldn't have been a breakout order for me, which is why I've implemented this aggressive strategy, and a really good break to the downside yesterday. We saw dollar strength coming into the market yesterday. I think that continues, but I do think with this, you know, maybe, possibly, we get a little bit of pullback up into NFP. Maybe we don't. Maybe we get a push on. But there's no reason for me to worry about this situation and say, oh, I'm 7% up. I just kind of want to take these profits, because that is the wrong thing to do. You know, always remember with my trades is what I'm looking is to get involved at a period where it can be ready to move, i.e. we're wanting movements like this. And, you know, I've just got to let this ride. And this is where your patience, although it's difficult, certainly when you go through a run of a few losing trades, and just let it run, because we know the big ones are the double digits. They're not the 7%. You know, they're the 10+%. And this is also interesting because if, let's say in June, right? June, before EU, I was down 8%, right? On 4 trades. This one trade potentially could take me into a positive percentage for June, in which case, remember, whenever I open a trade, I consider that in the month. I don't do it by closes. In which case, if I do get a positive percent, I'm sitting on, you know, maybe 13, 14, something like percent on the first half of the year for 6 months. And I tell you something, I would be ecstatic about that. If I come out of the first 6 months, which could change, yes, it could be different, it could be more, on 13, 14, 15%, I will be absolutely ecstatic. And I actually would consider it maybe my biggest achievement in trading thus far, right? I genuinely would, because you also, if I, you know, because I've said to you a few times that I don't consider the first 6 months to me trading well, right? So if I can come out not trading well, you think about maybe the Premier League, The best teams in the Premier League, like they lose or they win games playing badly. So if I can win the market, if I can beat the market trading essentially badly, you know, that for me is great. Going through a war, going through these kind of markets we've had, that's been tough for my personal strategy. If I can come out with that, not confirmed yet, then I will absolutely be ecstatic. And the good thing is, again, as I said, there's a few things I've left on the table from poor trading. You know, 20% I've left on the table on pound trades I didn't take. So it's all again, you always try to see the cup half full. There's always positives to look forward to. And yeah, let's see what EU does. I like it. I'm not expecting fireworks today. I'm expecting pullback. I'm expecting maybe rangy price action. I still like dollar strength. And obviously, I'm happy with where that position is. So let's see. Let's see. On fire. Well, I wish I was on fire, John. But yeah, I would consider it on fire. I would be very, very happy. Very, very happy. And again, the main thing is we're always looking at ourselves. We're not comparing ourselves to anybody else. You're only in competition with you. That's all that matters. That is all that matters. Right, dollar got a good day yesterday. Dollar strength coming in yesterday. I did kind of think that would happen. Maybe I didn't think it would happen yesterday, but we did get a breakthrough and we pushed on now. So very similar to the I haven't done the SPX yet, have I? Have I done the SPX? No, sorry. Oh, I did my trade. So with the dollar, I'm thinking pullback here potentially before Friday. The numbers will affect it from a technical perspective. You've got to be thinking continued dollar strength. You have to be now. There's, you know, the chart actually looks pretty good. It's neating up. Yeah, I think maybe we get a few days. Maybe we don't. But my bias would still be dollar strength. Bias would still be dollar strength. SPX. I'll let you type, John. Excuse me, I don't have my cup. I'm taking my water out of a jug. I'll go into the SPX while you type, John. So SPX very similar to most indices. Here we had a push down over London and then a few V reversals on the smaller time frames, as we can see here on the 30-minute hourly. Decent daily hammer. Decent daily hammer. This, if it wants to turn into a complex, it's kind of got to do it soon, right? The risk of price action like this is we're getting into kind of this, right? Where bias will start to shift as the day goes on without a real push to the upside, to the downside. So obviously London and US have got to open up today. Yesterday's bar is a bullish bar. It's not a technical hammer, but it is a bullish bar. So at the moment, you still are expecting short-term upside. And I'm going to continue with that bias if that's what I think. This will change depending on the next day or two. If we don't get some impetus to the upside, I might say, well, I don't really think that that's going to happen. And I think more that we get a breakdown towards the end of the week. But at the moment, it's still in corrective. See how London opens. There is that V reversals on the smaller time frames that look a little bit more bullish, i.e. the hourly down. But let's just see how London and US opens today and how this daily closes, but still in corrective mode. Still in corrective. Looks like you exited at the bottom on USD yen. Is that moving up now? USD yen. Exited at the bottom, so you exited down here. Yeah, maybe. I still fancy this to move down in terms of a corrective sense. I could be wrong, but I still think this daily seems to be like it's losing momentum up and it just needs a little bit of a harder reset. But it could push on. With that dollar strength, it could push on, but we're seeing the yen come and play a little bit. You know, we're seeing the yen come and play. It's a hard one to predict. You know, you could just look at it and say, okay, we're ranging now. From a 4-hour perspective, we're just ranging in this environment. So yeah. You could come down here, tag this, and kind of continue until we get some sort of break either direction. But I just worry about that daily for longs. Okay, watch this today. There's some I really like. Pound Aussie was the first one that is not my favorite one, but something I'm going to consider if it does indeed set up. Right. So technically, our context is there. It's not as nice. It's not an A-class context. But it is there on a breakthrough. You could call this cup with handle, V reversal. And we're in this, if I zoom in a wee bit. we're in this potential ABC corrective. So I'm only looking at this on the hourly. Okay, so we're potentially getting ABC somewhere here, possibly on London Open. Ideally, that comes in the form of inverted hammer, right? That is obviously my favorite entry, my favorite catalyst. If we can get something like that, I wouldn't mind it. I don't mind selling the pound, right? The pound, in terms of the markets, the pound's got the weakest index out there. And Johnson, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that as well. So the idea of selling the pound, I understand, is against the Aussie, but it makes sense to me, right? So from a daily perspective, although we were looking at this long, and there was an argument for that, although it didn't break, we're falling off now, right? So in terms of confluence, if we shift over to the weekly, you kind of get that 20 pullback. And also, I think I know what you're going to type, John. I don't know whether you're going to know. I don't know whether people are going to see that as positive of the pound or negative of the pound, right? Is that what you're going to say? Because I understand that. Sold pound Swiss last night. Yeah, that's premise of that would be good, yeah. So from a weekly perspective, this is what I'm looking at. Pull back to the 20. Trend is down, and getting involved in that trend at potentially a good time, breaking through the 4-hour structure, breaking underneath that 200. For me, this is a nice area to potentially enter for a short. So I'll be looking at that today and really within the next hour or two for a potential breakout retest to the downside. UZAR is still there. I don't think I get this. I think this may have moved here. Yeah, unfortunately. I was trying to get involved in this for days. Just didn't give me an in. Didn't give me in, and it's probably one that's gone. So I think I was looking at this somewhere. I was looking at this for ages. I was looking at aggressive in there. Just didn't quite give me an in, unfortunately. But USDZAR, I think, is gone now. I think it's gone. EURUSD, I can look for a daily corrective. I don't know whether that happens or not. Back up in here. Let's see. It can do this breakout retest for a potential daily breakout retest. I can look at that as well if it does come in. I just think that potentially it moves to the downside, but we'll see. And finally, USD Singapore. USD, this is the ones that have broken. So USD Singapore, again, another one that I was looking at for quite some time. Didn't quite get an entry in. Looking for a potential retest of these areas. I just don't think I get any of these daily retests, but I'm going to continue to watch them just in case I do. Just in case I do. Right, the ones I really like. Aussie dollar and Kiwi yen. So Aussie dollar, here the daily is obviously good. Another one I tried to get involved in, couldn't get an entry. Bias for the Aussie dollar is down. I'm looking for our price action to break from this area. We've got our initial basing structure, looking for our secondary structure to come down, breakout, retest, move to the downside. Not much to say on that. I agree with the bias. Higher time frame is good. It's not extended. 4-hour does look good. Back to that 20 potential pullback. I could look at a 4-hour actually as well. Breakout. Could potentially look at a 4-hour breakout there, but obviously I'd prefer a breakout retest on smaller time frames. But Aussie dollar shorts, yeah, like that if it does break. And same as Kiwi yen. Kiwi yen looking like it, well, is faking to the downside now. That's okay. Depending on how this goes, we've still got, if we can get this, that for me would still be fine. Looking for a proper break through the area, retest, movement to the downside. I like the idea of buying the yen. It has got a little bit of strength into it recently. I like the fact that we've closed under the 4-hour moving averages. You can potentially look at this as well from a 4-hour perspective, from a breakout. But I think it's better because this initial structure area is not massively clear for me. So I would rather look at the area from here and say this is our V reversal. So we could be within this corrective phase or this pullback through time rather than through price. The fake out, like I said, if it digests and it continues like this, it's fine for me. But I just need that 20 catch up. Again, another one that I prefer a breakout retest on smaller time frames. But if the Kiwi decides or the yen decides to weaken off today, then this will push on and I probably won't get Aussie dollar or Kiwi yen if we have a little bit of a risk on attitude over the next 2 or 3 days. But I do like the premise of those two trades. Aussie dollar short and Kiwi yen short makes sense to me. Technicals has certainly have a case for it, probably more so Aussie dollar. But if these, yeah, if I'm losing my words. If the Kiwi and the Aussie wants to gain some strength, we obviously won't get them. Okay, breakouts. USD CAD and 225. USD CAD and the 225. USD CAD, another one. I've been looking for an entry in for quite some time. That is not an aggressive entry for me. It's too much of a large rangy bar, obviously. But we've got our context complete. This is what I like to see. And I'm just looking for that 20 catch-up, which sometimes you do get. Whether we get this because of NFP on Friday, we'll have to wait and see. But looking for a few days of consolidation here before a break to the upside. If it does decide to break, I can look for a breakout retest. But yeah, just another one that just didn't quite give me an in. I liked it long, but didn't quite give me an entry into that. So need a few days of accumulation. Probably 4 or 5. So this may not be a trade for next week, which means NFP has to be kind of a non-event on Friday, which I'm not sure will be. But let's see, USD CAD. And the final one is the 225. 225, another one I do like from a 4-hour and also potential breakout retest perspective here. I should have added that in, sorry. Just something I noticed right at the end. So GP 225, potential breakout retest as well. Just add that. 30-minute, 1 hour. Context is obviously great. Going with that trend, we can see our structure here. Cut with handle, looking for a breakout retest, continuation down. Right, that's option numero uno. 4-hour option is still on the cards. Needs to come down and tag this area. Nice little ABC corrective. So, you know, relatively healthy price action coming into this secondary structure and into this move to the downside, which is good. I.e., if we get a kind of steep move here, we're thinking about our 20, which is one of the things I need next to the accumulation phase. If you get healthy price action like this coming down, it kind of relieves a little bit of that need for a larger pullback or a larger accumulation phase in order to get that 20 catch up to price action. So price action looks relatively healthy. So this is good. Again, looking for this to come down. I could potentially look at aggressive on a third structure here. Aggressive entry if it comes down, tags this area, comes back up for a pullback. I can look at aggressive here, ultimately looking for a breakout. It doesn't have to have a third structure. We can come down here, accumulate slightly, let that 20 catch up, digest this kind of probably latest impulse here, and break to the downside. So 225, there is the breakout retest option, there's a 4-hour breakout, and there's the daily breakout. So you can see the context coming in there. This was not an aggressive, by the way, because there was not volume on this inverted hammer, albeit it was quite nice. So not enough volume there for an aggressive. But again, this looks good. Nothing much to say on that. Going with the trend. I would like this breakout retest here, because I think you get down to that area. It just depends on whether I get the setup. And that's all she wrote today, I think. That's all she wrote. Sold pound Swiss last night. Let's have a look at pound Swiss. Anything you guys want me to look at today? Remember, if you want to get entered in for the 50K, tomorrow is the last day to submit your entries. Pound Swiss. Yeah, the daily would be, again, the daily here. It looks like it's in a potential little pullback, right? Or correction through time from this latest move. It has moved quite well. So, presuming on all other time frames, it looks pretty good to the downside. Yep, kind of does. You could be getting our head and shoulders here for a breakdown. So 4-hour I like. Hourly is good. You know, I do. Yeah, bias to the downside is there from 4-hour downwards. It's just that daily. You know, do we need a little bit more to digest what has been a good move? Because we're kind of stalling. So does this mean that we are in pullback mode or potential corrective mode? Let that 20 catch up, digest this latest move before we move. So as I said, I do think it's down, but this is often where you see like fake outs to the upside, and a lot of retail potentially get stopped out during these phases here. So that would be my worry with pound Swiss, but I agree with the bias. Yep. Anything else, guys? Relatively, well, 20 minutes. Relatively quick stream today. No worries, mate. No worries. But again, like if we shift it to 225, let's say, you know, as I said, when I try and sell stuff or buy stuff, I'm trying to get into a point, and this is just me. Like, you could be like, well, I'm happy going with that momentum here or something, and I get that. But I just think if you get, you know, a breakdown here, it can move quite some ways, because you've got relatively healthy price action going into it. And that's why, as I say, with EU, this is where the patience comes in, because we have to remember that that's why I've entered. Right? There's no reason why this probably can't go down to the 1, right? Down here, that big psychological level it probably will be. You know, because we've had that healthy price action, because we've had that pullback, because we've had a you know, what, 2-3 weeks of accumulation here, it's ready to move. So, yeah, let's see. Let's see. Anything else, guys, before I head off? No other pairs? Nothing else you guys are looking at or want me to look at? No? Alrighty then. Have a lovely Wednesday. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Remember, if you want to be entered, get your entries in by tomorrow. Right. Trade safe, guys. Peace.